Now for a look at your money, the CEO of JPMorgan Chase is making headlines for comments to shareholders about his outlook for the U.S. economy, issuing warnings about America's adversaries and calling for a shift in energy policy. National correspondent Audrey El-Nashar has more from Washington.
When Jamie Dimon speaks, economists and policymakers take notes. The CEO of JPMorgan Chase, America's biggest bank, describes to shareholders what he calls a pivotal moment for America and the free Western world. He writes, "Only America has the full capability to lead and coalesce the Western world. And now we must do so as America's leadership is being challenged around the world. There is nothing more important." Russia's invasion of Ukraine and violence in Israel and Gaza, he says, may very well be creating risks that could eclipse anything since World War II. Echoing comments he made in January in support of U.S. aid to Ukraine.
American leadership has to explain to the American public why it's important. Has to remind them of what happened in 1917. Has to remind them what happened in 1941.
It's in line with the Biden administration's stance. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen was in China this week, warning leaders there against aiding Russia.
Neither of us want this to be an issue in our bilateral relationship.
Dimon breaks from the administration on trade, implying the president's policies are not pragmatic, like a temporary pause on pending exports of liquefied natural gas, which does not apply to the 20 countries with free trade agreements with the U.S. Dimon calls it not only wrong, but enormously naive. And he argues the best way to reduce CO2 in the coming decades is to replace coal with LNG. The White House says the pause will allow time to evaluate the impacts LNG exports have on energy costs and climate.
The temporary pause does not impact current LNG exports, but there is some, by having these pauses, it does tell us something that is important to know.
Not all of Dimon's predictions in recent years have panned out. Still, he appears confident America's at an inflection point, equipped with the tools it needs to overcome challenges both global and domestic, yet vulnerable to polarization and short-sighted decisions. In Washington, I'm Audrey El-Nashar reporting.